It's great, Jeff. I'm already through 3 hosts on my second day.
Right, that's true. You are. Let's go to the Guardians and the Royals. Obviously, you're not seeing a typo. The Guardians are the Cleveland Indians, for anyone that's living under a rock. They got their boy Bieber on the mound. We're not talking about Justin. We're talking about Shane. Guardians laying 120 currently at BetUS. Royals come in. You see Greinke, you're thinking, oh, that seems like a bettable spot at home. They're plus 110, over under 7.5. Greinke's obviously lost a step. This is not the Greinke we know of many years ago that played for the Dodgers. I still think he's a serviceable guy, but I look at the Royals, Mark, a lot similar to the way I look at the Cubs. I think they're just kind of a poor team. This is not the Royals team of years ago with Hosmer and Big Moose and those guys. This is a team with some talent. Obviously you got Mondesi and some of those guys. Salvador Perez is a good player, but there's not a lot of talent on this roster. Pitching remains an issue. Obviously their bullpen's problematic. You're pretty high on the Guardians from what I remember. You kind of have them as, and I will admit, I agree. I think they're significantly better than where the Royals are right now, but I don't know. Something tells me, Mark, and I know you're kind of leaning one way here. I've got a weird feeling that Kansas City hangs around here. I've always found them to be plucky, at least in my own betting strategy. What do you like here, Cleveland, Kansas City?
Well, the one thing that I will say that kind of I took a little bit of a pause before I made the play, but my model just loves Cleveland here. But the one thing that I will say is Bieber has not been as good throughout his career at Kauffman Stadium, but he only has 5 stars, so you got to take that sample size into account. But I think that's a good point. Cleveland, I have winning 77.3 games, and I've got the Royals at 62.4 games. So something's going to be up with this model on a daily basis when they face each other. But I really have, guys who have followed me throughout the last few years, they know that I have Bieber fever, Jeff.
Do you?
That's Shane Bieber, not Justin Bieber. Not really into Justin Bieber that much, but Shane Bieber I am totally into. His numbers are phenomenal. He kind of got injured last year, so I guess by his standards he kind of had a down year. But I'll just go over his last 5 starts. I'll just go over the fundamental crunch right now, and then I'll go over his last 5 start kind of granular metrics. But I have Bieber in the model at 67, so 33% better than an average pitcher. And Greinke I've got worse than an average pitcher. So here's Kansas City's number 1 guy, 6% worse than the average pitcher. And so that's not very good. Relief, I've got Cleveland at a 90, Kansas City at a 96. So we get the edge there. And then offensively, I do have both teams rated right about the same at 95. So neither team with a good offense. One of the interesting things about Cleveland is their fielding number is best in baseball. And that really is driven by Austin Hedges, who, if you had 9 Austin Hedges, which you can't because he's a catcher, and my catcher metrics take in pitch framing as well. So they're going to be the most volatile, I guess, if you will, metrics. But he suppresses runs 48% greater than an average player. And again, he's a catcher, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. And that kind of drives that run. Or drives that fielding rating. So what does that mean from a run standpoint? Well, you got a 95, meaning that fielding taking it in a vacuum, they're going to be 5% better with run suppression. So, 10% of 4.5 are 4.5 runs is what they score in Major League Baseball. So 10% of that is 0.45 runs. So 5% of that is 0.225. So just right off the bat, they get that run edge with their fielding. So I don't think a lot of handicappers take that into account. And I think that you need to, because fielding is certainly part of the game.
No, it is. And that's something that can make or break a baseball game. A costly error in the 7th inning that it just drives things. Yeah, it's concerning. And look, that's one of the problems, and I've heard talked about how everyone in Philadelphia loves the Phillies this year. They have one of the worst defenses on paper maybe ever. I mean, this is a bad team defensively, and you can't knock the little things. And when you're betting on sports, you can't knock the little things. And Cleveland has a great, fielding level. So, yeah, I got to tell you, look, I'm not betting this game. You're betting it. I love Bieber. I think he's terrific. But I got to tell you, I think Greinke's still a pretty solid pitcher personally. I actually really like their lineup, quite frankly. Merrifield hits Bieber really well. And I think if the top of the lineup can produce Benintendi, Bobby Witt, Perez, I don't know about a full game just because I don't love Casey's bullpen, quite frankly. I'm not playing it. I'm not going to root against you either. I'm going to hope that you get the job done here. I think
that's good. I'm glad you're not going to root. That's cool.
No, I'm not going to bet against you this time. I may bet against you in the future. If you gave me a free bet and said, Jeff, you either pick this game or I'm going to blow your head off, I would take KC, but I'm not. And luckily you're not.
Has that ever happened to you? I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe it might have.
Well, I'll say proudly, no, it has not happened to me. However, if it did, I would take Kansas City. But it's just really a lukewarm lean. I know you like the Guardians. And look, I think in gambling a lot of the time, you have to trust your handicapping. I tell people that all the time. People always ask me about what do I think about this game. Well, truthfully, I'll tell you what I think. But at the end of the day, you have an interest in the game because you asked about it. Go with your gut sometimes. And that's something you have the Guardians rated high. Look, you're back in Bieber. That's never a bad thing. How can you go wrong with Bieber? So,
well, I wanted to get into Zach, if you don't mind, just sure. Real quick to get into Zach Greinke's real granular metrics. And I call it my 3-metric chart. It takes into account swinging strike percentage, expected walk percentage based on balls divided by pitches, and hard hit percentage. So just looking at it, I think these are really key numbers because they're important. You can extrapolate swinging strike percentage to expected strikeout percentage. And Greinke's only a 41 percentile guy in that particular metric. His hard hit, and this is over the last 4 months. So these are in his starts since June. He has had 17 starts since June. And he's in the 41st percentile swinging strike rate, 43rd percentile in hard hit per 9, and expected walk percentage, which is surprising because over the years he's had pretty good control. He's actually was in the 26th percentile. So overall, you put that all together, he was a 30 percentile pitcher from June till the end of the season last year. I don't know. I think the guy's on his way down. It's what the numbers say. And conversely, one of the things that's really good about Bieber's granular stats is his swinging strike percentage. He had 5 starts after June. His swinging strike percentage was 4.146, which extrapolates to a 30% strikeout rate, puts him in the 94th percentile. So, I mean, look, I don't have Justin Bieber fever. I've got Shane Bieber fever, and I'm not really a huge fan of Greinke. I think his best days are behind him.
Yeah, we've seen that. There's a couple of guys on the card today that are in similar predicaments. Obviously, Bumgarner down in Arizona. I mean, this is not, 5 years ago where some of these guys like Greinke and Bumgarner dominate. Darvish really regressed towards the end of last year. So, Greinke could be that guy. I think on a long-term perspective, I agree with you. I'm not, he's not that guy of old, but something tells me, this game, I don't know. I'm not high on the Guardians, maybe like you are, but we'll root you in here. Mark going to go with the Guardians on the money line.
So that's okay, Jeff, because it's going to take me like 6 months to. I probably already said it 3 times. I probably said the Indians. So
I'll be honest with you. I'm not afraid to say it. I say the Redskins still.
I don't see if somebody's getting mad at me because I call them the Indians. They're the Indians, man. What about Major League? Are they going to redo Major League and be Guardians and Major League? It's like, oh my gosh.
Like, I'm not getting into like a whole thing on names, but it's like, I mean, I feel like if you're going to change names, it should be across the board. There's still college football teams called the Seminoles. I mean, I don't know. I'm
totally with you. The Padres. I mean, gosh, let's offend Priest. It's offensive to Priest, but no. I think that. I think that it will be a really bad sign if the networks start pulling Major League off because of their reference to the Indians.
I hope
because I love Major League.
It's one one of the great movies. I watched that movie maybe 2-3 weeks ago. It's terrific. I never get tired of that movie. It's funny. It's compelling. I love it. I also love the end. There's a little drama to it. You know, there's kind of that love story, romance to it. I think it's a great film. I've always enjoyed Major League. Yeah, look, we have to remember the past is the past, you know, and you know, I don't think we're all proud of some of the things that have happened in film and TV over the years, but you know, it's the past and we have to leave it be. You know, we can't change history, unfortunately. So, you know, whatever. Guardians, Indians.
Best quote we can move on from that movie when they're talking about Willie Mays Hayes. Runs like Hayes, hits like, you know what I mean. You know,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to the Willie Mays Hayes of 2022. And as the season goes on, I'll be like, this guy's the Willie Mays Hayes of 2022.
Well, we'll have to figure out who that is as the show goes on.